1 hour for Caitlin Clark's return to Carver Hawkeye Arena to be sold out. Tickets went on sale at 9 this morning.
Caitlin Clark doesn't just move the needle, she is the needle.
Did you notice what just transpired? More quickly than Angel Reese could have predicted, the Indiana Fever just sold out 15,000 tickets for a preseason game.
One person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Additionally, they're playing the Brazilian women's national team, a team with as many well-known players as Timothy Chalamet, rather than LeBron James, Steph Curry, or even the Utah Jazz. We're talking about numbers so high that you'd need Bill Belichick to become your sugar daddy because she's in it for his personality, folks. The Oscars want to resell tickets, so you better start going through your couch cushions or selling a kidney because prices are skyrocketing into the thousands. It's gotten so crazy that Mr. Beast, my YouTube overlord, who distributes money like oxygen, is on X pleading for a seat. That's the level of madness we're dealing with here on May 4th, 2025, at Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa City. The Fever will play Brazil at Clark's former college stomping grounds in a match that is more about a coronation than hoops. The 15,500-seat venue hasn't witnessed this type of fervor since 1968. If you're sitting there smugly muttering, "Oh, I saw this coming from a mile away," you must be the proud owner of a DeLorean time machine with a dog-eared copy of a sports almanac stashed in the glove box. If you're thinking that this is just fans realizing how amazing the WNBA has always been, like Trump realizing that his world has been a lie for 30 years, then shut your ears because I have some shattering information about Santa Claus that he's not real, and that a WNBA preseason game sold out 15,000 seats. 2 years ago, in fact, any WNBA game selling more than 15,000 seats was about as likely as Kanye West tweeting something that won't make his publicist quit, but then Caitlin Clark strutted in slicing through records like a fruit ninja with watermelons, and now here we are, 15,000 seats gone, haters weeping, and the Fever laughing all the way to the bank. Now, let's rewind the tape a sec. This preseason sellout isn't some random fluke. No, this is the natural encore to Caitlin Clark's rookie season where she didn't just play basketball, she turned the WNBA into a cultural juggernaut. The numbers, oh, they're spicy. In her first season, the Fever racked up over 340,000 total home attendees across 18 games. That's an average of more than 177,000 fans per night, the highest in WNBA history. Before Clark rolled into town, they were lucky to get 4,000 people to show up. On the road, she drew crowds like she was handing out free iPhones. Over 20,000 fans packed the stands in DC to watch her bless the Mystics with her presence, a record for a single game that's not a basketball game, that's a rock concert with better cardio. Fever games alone accounted for 45% of the league's broadcast value, and her games averaged 1.2 million viewers, a 100% increase over games without her. She didn't just bring casual fans to the table, she turned them into diehards and forced them to purchase the jersey as well. Speaking of jerseys, Fever gear sales increased by 1,200% year over year, with Clark's number 22 selling more quickly than the rotisserie chickens at Costco. You know, they put them back there, so you have to walk through the entire store. Economically, local businesses close to Gainbridge had a 265% increase in ticket sales for the Fever. Fieldhouse, who is a one-woman economic stimulus program and not a player, claimed a 25% increase in sales on game days, and the WNBA is cashing in. Since her stat line is a masterpiece that Picasso would be proud of, let's examine it. Clark scored 19.2 points and provided 8.4 assists on average per game, which helped her even though the WNBA record most assists in a season and points by a guard was broken by the runaway Rookie of the Year. Some idiots continue to argue that she isn't the league's top point guard. However, it's more than just the numbers. It's the atmosphere. Your uncle, who only watches baseball highlights on ESPN, is now texting you about women's hoops because Clark made the team you would politely applaud into a must-see event. You're watching games at the bar instead of just watching the highlights on airport TVs, most likely during CNN because of her. The WNBA went from YMCA Rec League demand to selling out NBA arenas because of her, and this 15,000-seat preseason sellout is just the icing on the cake. Everyone wants a piece on this delicious sundae, with the exception of those who suffer from irritable bowel syndrome and are lactose intolerant. The instant they hear Caitlin's name. Now, let's discuss the clowns in the peanut gallery. The jerks, liars, and rage baiters who have been yelling into thin air since day one. You know, the people who would sooner die on a hill of insults than acknowledge they're mistaken in their major argument. They claim that Caitlin Clark's popularity is solely due to her waving the privilege flag like it's a get-out-of-logic-free card, and others refer to it as temporary hype, as if she's a one-hit wonder who will fade more quickly than that Korean guy who did Gangnam Style and left his name in the comments for nostalgia. Let's unpack this garbage fire first. Are they saying that the race argument is as tenuous as a wet paper towel in a tornado? Because of her skin tone, 15,000 fans paid thousands of dollars to watch her, not because she's stealing threes and dropping dimes like it's her day job. Let's also talk about the NCAA, where her resume completely shuts down this foolishness at Iowa. As if it were a piñata at a child's party, Clark broke Pete Maravich's record to become the all-time leading scorer in Division I history. She also set the single-season record for three-pointers and became the first player to lead the country in both points and assists in the same year. Twice, she scored 49 points in a single game against Michigan. According to the statistics, she accounted for 26.5% of the WNBA's economic activity in 2024 attendance, demonstrating that dominance, not privilege, is what's happening. The player is so amazing that she has casual spectators who don't know a pick and roll from a dinner roll paying attention, and the numbers make you laugh out loud, a 170% viewership. Spike is a freaking tsunami, not a fluke. The haters pretend she's some flash in the pan gimmick, but 1,200% merchandise growth says otherwise. You don't just quadruple attendance and rewrite record books because of a PR stunt. You do it because you're a generational audience. Her games didn't just draw viewers, they kept them coming back week after week, making the NBA a destination rather than background noise for your dentist's waiting room. According to Talent Swoop, her numbers don't add up. With 19.2 points and 8.4 assists, Clark outperformed all other rookies in 2024. The best part is that their world is collapsing more quickly than a Vegas marriage, even though Angel Reese didn't even score 14 points each game. Marketing doesn't match 12-23's skill. They're out here drinking Haterade while Clark is rewriting the script, and the plot twist is amazing. Every sold-out game, every jaw-dropping statistic, and every frantic request from Mr. Beast is another nail in the coffin of their depressing little story. Since she isn't leaving, what happens when you introduce a supernova like Caitlin Clark to a league that has been struggling? You get such an amazing makeover that the cast of Queer Eye would be envious. There are hints everywhere that the WNBA is rushing into a new era and not just riding coattails, as evidenced by this 15,000-seat preseason sellout against Brazil. The Chicago Sky moved their fever matchups to the United Center, which is twice as large as Winchester Arena and cannot even sell out game in and game out. The Atlanta Dream moved to State Farm Arena, and the Washington Mystics are upgrading once more. In 2025, the league is going above and beyond to keep up with her fever games, which are being pushed to NBA arenas because their regular venues can't handle the crowds. In addition to breaking seating charts and ankles, Clark's charisma has NBA-sized stadiums bending to her. Then there's the NBA All-Star Three-Point Challenge. Imagine this. The NBA is promoting its 2025 major midseason event, and Clark is asked to showcase her long-range skills. She replies, "No, I'm fine," and they decide to call it off. The NBA, yes, the $12 billion due Big Brother, canceled an event because a WNBA sophomore didn't feel like showing up. That's not influence, that's straight-up dominance. She's got the league's puppet strings in one hand and a basketball in the other. Oh, and they went full Avengers Assemble mode during the 2025 free agency and trade period. They acquired two-time WNBA champion and six-time All-Star Dananna Boner, who averaged 14.9 points and 6.1 rebounds over her 15-year career. They also added Natasha Howard, a three-time champion whose defensive grit could make opponents cry uncle. Finally, they traded for Sophie Cunningham, a sharp-shooting wing with enough toughness to stare down a grizzly pair. Boston 2023 is Rookie of the Year, and your roster is more war machine than team. Clark's versatility and ability to score goals allow him to fling no-look passes for simple baskets. More offensive opportunities in transition that would have typically been baskets for the opponent will be created by Howard's lockdown defense. According to pundits, this lineup might turn the Fever into a playoff danger because Cunningham's shooting will stretch defenses and allow Clark to carve up the floor like a Thanksgiving turkey. The WNBA is on the verge of a $200 million per year TV deal that will begin in 2026, which is a huge increase from the $60 million they were barely making. This money, which was fueled in large part by Clark's 45% share of 2024's broadcast value, will fund a new CBA with player salaries rising from an average of $120,000 to possibly $300,000 plus. The league is ending its period of poverty, and it's all thanks to Caitlin Clark, who transformed it from a charity case into a self-sustaining powerhouse. No more pleading, Dad NBA for spare change. Similar to Hillary Banks' father, I need $200, okay? Haters, the evidence is stacked higher than a hoarder's garage. Therefore, it's time for a reality check, or the hater apocalypse, as I like to refer to it. 15,000 preseason tickets sold out, costing the league 26.5% of its revenue. NBA stadiums bending to her fans, and an upcoming TV deal that will make it rain. What do you do now, Salty? Caitlin Clark is more than simply a player. She is the WNBA savior. To dispute that would be like arguing that the sun is hot or that pizza with pineapple is a crime against humanity. Skeptic step 1. Quit talking. You're as exhausted as a rerun of Friends on basic cable. Step 2. Purchase a ticket. Step 3. Admit you were wrong. It won't kill you, I promise, even though it might hurt more than stepping on a Lego in the dark. No one is saying you can't be tough on Caitlin for her play, but keep it objective and don't let this moment of transformation get lost in your fixation over who gets credit. Join the 17,000 fans packing stands or the millions watching at home. If she wins one or both, the haters will run out of ammunition, but you know they'll slink off to complain about something else by F. If you're still here, leave a basketball emoji in the comments to say hello, and thanks for watching. Clark is making the WNBA stronger, richer, and more electrifying, and 2025 is looking to be her coronation. She's among the MVP favorites, and the Fever are a real championship threat.